What's up guys? So today we're going to be cutting little pockets for the Blum hinges on the bottom side of the bamboo. So I got this cut to fit. This is a sweet little jig, Greg jig. So it comes with this guy. It's got a couple different adjustments here for offsets. So I have a 6mm offset, so I already marked how far over I need. I have a little bit of play with the 80-20, but I'm going to be clamping this down here, and then we're going to give it a shot, see how it works out. So for this, guys, I got my drill set on a 1 just because it's bamboo, it's a hardwood. We don't want to go too fast, so we got to slow it down a little bit. And this guy clips in here. All right, let's give it a go. Doesn't clear the chips out very well, but it seems to be cutting pretty good. There we go. Pretty clean. Just gonna check the depth. I'm gonna do my, I think it's 1/16 little drill holes there. And these are what the manufacturer recommends with these hinges. They're 5/8 number 6 flathead Phillips. Let's go check our depth here. So we got 1/2 inch plus this, it's a 1/2 inch. So I got, this is a 1/2 inch plus a 1/2 inch. So I marked this down to 1 inch so that I don't drill through my piece here. And remember guys, you want to keep this jig in here to drill all this at once so it's all even together. Seems like it fits in there pretty dang good. It's not rocking around, so you know the depth is good. And we definitely don't want to be over tightening these here, that's for sure. Cool. Then for these holes, guys, I think I'm gonna, seems like they're a little more accurate if I just mark them out myself than using the jig. Just gotta make sure we square up. Looks good there. Much better. That really sucks. So guys, I just broke this screw head off in there. That's why I don't want to over tighten them, so gotta start over. Alright guys, I don't know if you guys can see this, but so because I popped that screw head out, what I did was I just took a bunch of sawdust and some super glue and just started jamming it in there, did a few layers of it, and I think this is going to work out for us. Step bit on these guys just to make enough clearance for the 1/4-20. So this 1/4-20 here doesn't fit, so that's what we're doing. I'll open that hole up. So it's very hard to do if you just take a drill. Let me bring it a little closer. So if you guys just take a drill bit in here, it's just going to be walking all over the place. It's really hard to do. So with the board, with the step bit, it helps guide it in so that you can actually open this hole up. Otherwise it's very, very difficult to do. So I'm going to go do that now. That's it. Tight fit, as you guys can see in the back. So these guys are what keep and hold that sink in there. So all these little radiuses and stuff are super important. Came out great though. I absolutely love the look of this thing. Super flush mount. Looking good. Super stoked. Alright, what's up guys? So today we are sealing up the bamboo. This one's already got one coating done on it. This one as well. This one here. So it's looking pretty good. This one's uncoated. We're about ready to do this one now. What I'm using is this Watco Butcher Block oil and finish. It's basically you wipe it on and then you let it dry for about 6 hours, and then you go and hit it with 400 grit sandpaper just real lightly, and then you can do a second coat. So I already did the bottom sides, flipped it over. One thing I learned was you don't want to put this stuff on too thick. You kind of want to just barely be able to see it on top. It's just like a nice little matte finish there. You know, if you cake it on too much, then it gets kind of sticky, and then you got to go in and sand it, and it just looks kind of weird. It puts lines in it. So two pretty light coats there. I used, prior to sanding, I did router the edges a little bit. Just knock off that edge. Pretty easy. I didn't have any chipping problems or anything like that. I used this Milwaukee. I think it's a 3/16 round over bit. Diablo. It's like the carbide. Yeah, so I didn't have any chipping or anything else. It worked out really good. I hit it with 220 grit. So it just gave the surface, you know, like a nice smooth down to apply this stuff. So, and then 400 grit in between coats. So we're gonna go ahead and hit this one here. Did use some of this tack cloth. This stuff works great for getting, you want to make sure you get all the sawdust off. I got these at Home Depot. Came in a 3-pack. I've only used 2 on all this wood so far, but that gets all the dust and everything off of it. So when you go to apply the finish here, the oil on finish, you don't have anything junked up in it. So here I go. I'm just going to dip it in. This is cloth, lint-free cloth. You want to go with the grain. Stuff really brings out the grain in the wood. It looks really nice. And I like that it's not too glossy. If you do want even more of a matte look, which I'm not sure if I'm going to do yet, you can hit it with the 400 grit sandpaper just on the top, just lightly. And then it'll give it more of a matte look, I guess. We'll take a look. If you can see that little glare there. So you're looking for a nice even coat all the way along. You don't want any like real thick spots. So it looks nice and matte there. Otherwise, when it gets all caked on there, you can kind of see lines, and it just doesn't look, you get like these glossy spots on there, so I don't really like that. I want a nice even coating. Yeah, looks good. Got them all laying there. We're gonna probably give them all overnight. It says 6 hours, but we're gonna do it overnight. And then we'll probably hit the, do the 400 grit sandpaper, and then do one more coat. All right, what is up, YouTube? So today we're working on the interior camper here. Just gonna show you around the camper, show you what I got here so far. So to sum it up again, we've got the 1/4 inch panels inside the channel of the 80/20 here. We've got bamboo tops, 3/4 inch. We've installed struts. So these struts are pretty straightforward. These are 7.5 inch. You're supposed to go 20 to 30% of the total distance. So that's about 25%. These are pretty straightforward. All I did here was pre-drill them. The screws and brackets came with this on Amazon. I did have to drill out for the 1/4 20 here on this bracket, but pretty straightforward install. We've got the Blum hinges. We've got our hex panel. This is 1/2 inch. We've got these hatches off of Amazon. These hinges are off Amazon as well. All of these pockets were CNC cut from the van builder locally. Charged me about $100 to do all that. But yeah, it's coming out pretty good. I rerouted all my electrical over here. So that's the charger one. I've got the blue C's. And then I got all the wiring going back behind this bulkhead. This is a 1/2 inch with some spacing in between. And I threw some riv nuts back there as well. So we've got the Bluetti V2 in here. We got some sliding doors here. I still have to put some little finger holes in here, which I'm going to do here soon. I've got this panel over here. This is just a 1/2 inch panel. Just installed this Hex Ply. This is 1/2 inch. I just need to do this back panel here on the back side of the sink. But what I'm using here on the back side are these little brackets you can get from T-Nuts. This puts a 1/2 inch panel basically flush like this with the 80/20, which is what I did on over here as well. And then this is the 1/2 inch panel on the passenger side. And then we've got sliding doors here as well for underneath. I'm gonna have my water tank under here. Again, I gotta put the finger holes in here. They're kind of hard to open right now, but underneath we've got my water tank. We're gonna be installing the water pump probably up here, somewhere around there. So I'll be able to fit 2 5-gallon water tanks, plenty of storage. This is going to be the slider doors here. So these tracks you can get from 8020.net. They have a lower and upper track, and I got them powder coated too as well. It took about a week to get, week and a half, which wasn't bad. They're a little bit pricey. It's about $40 I think per pair. So you just measure out the length you need and order the uppers and lowers, and then these are designed so that they just slip inside the tracks. Super easy to install there. So I'm just waiting on the 2 tracks that I ordered for up here to have the slider doors up top. I thought about doing a couple drawers or some double doors with some latches, but I think the best bet is I really like these sliding doors just because they're not interfering with the walkway here. It's about 2 feet, so I got quite a bit of space, but I don't want to have to lean back or anything like that. I just think the sliding doors work really well. It looks real clean. And then my sink is going on here pretty quick too. I've got the Dometic flush sink. The bamboo top is going to be 3/4 on top, and then I've got that sink mounted kind of in the middle. I wanted to offset it, but I went with the middle just because when I'm standing up top here, I don't want to touch the tent, so I put it right in the middle. I'm comfortable here, very easy. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now. I'm going to redo this electrical panel here. I'm going to be putting a water pump switch over here, maybe like a light switch over here. I'm probably going to redo the light switch and put them on that top corner here. Put a couple switches there, just easily accessible. And then I am going to, I've got all of these LEDs. They came out really nice. So these LED strips I just got off Amazon. There's some diffusers. Pretty easy to install, but they're super bright. They're dimmable. So those are nice, but the problem I'm having is I need light here. So what I'm probably going to do is route some wiring in between this panel. I'm going to put probably 1 strip here. We'll illuminate all this space here, and then it's going to easily illuminate, you know, the sink and everything else. It's pretty bright in here, but I want some more light. I love light, so it's going to be that warm kind of yellow light as well. But yeah, I do have the electrical strips underneath here as well. Excuse that wiring, we got to make a harness for that, or a box. So I've got all the wiring here. You can see it's sitting in the diffuser. So if you pop this, that's a cover. So it's aluminum diffuser. So it came out really good. The trick to these LEDs is definitely using very, very good adhesive. So double-sided tape. The best tape that I found is RC car servo tape. It's expensive, but holy cow, it holds very well. It works amazing even on this. I mean, this thing, I get crazy condensation, but it is stuck. You're not getting those things off. So that's the trick. So when I'm going to come in and do these strips, I have the aluminum diffuser already off Amazon. I'm going to use the servo tape on the back of the diffuser, and then you're going to have the sticky side on the LED strips. And then I just got to figure out the wiring. The tricky part's going to be getting the wiring from here. I've got to route it up here and probably bring it to this corner here, and then bring it down this track all the way down to the end, and then up this panel, probably on the other side, the sleeping side. You won't be able to feel it, but that's what I did over here in this track. You can see there's actually a wire in here. It doesn't interfere with anything. So that's how I ran that wire all the way here, and then I routed it in between here to the light itself, so nothing's interfering with anything, and it worked out great. So I think what I'm going to hit now is this back panel, maybe put some finger holes in here, and I'm excited to get this sink. I'm just waiting for the brackets from T-Nuts here to mount. I'm going to do threaded 1/4-20 inserts into the bottom of the bamboo, so I'm hoping that works out pretty good. Should be pretty dang solid. Probably going to put some resin in those inserts too as well, just to make sure they don't go anywhere. I thought about just screwing into the bottom bamboo, but I want to do this legit. Pretty nitpicky with the details of this build, so. But yeah, it's wrapping up, looking good. The floor, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the floor yet. I thought about doing some C-deck or some of that coin flooring. The C-deck, the problem with that is going to be pulling items out of here. I think it can easily tear the floor. So I think the coin deck probably would be the most durable. So this is the water tank, and then I can put, you know, shoes in here. I wanted a place for the shoes. That was important to me. We got to reroute the heater there. Probably going to run it up as well. I'm going to have 2 ports, put a Y on there. But diesel tank will be stored here for the diesel heater. Take that out at camp, and then we're going to go ahead and put our shoes and stuff like that there. And here we have access to the step 22 bags. But yeah, there's an 1/8 inch gap all the way around. So I think it's perfect, looks good. Tons of clearance, super clean. And then as we get around here, this is what I'm gonna be working on now. So as you can see, these brackets from T-Nuts. This puts us perfect, so if you use 1/2 inch, it's just gonna sit in there nice and flush. You'll just see the bull nose of the 80/20 just a little bit. I'm still gonna probably put aluminum plate on here. This is going to be filled on the inside of the 80/20, obviously. And then we're going to put a big old, I think Built Right Industries, I think, makes these universal panels. We're putting a big old panel here. Tons of access to bags and storage. Probably going to put one on the bulkhead there as well. Probably going to put a molly panel. I think I measured out this spot up top, and then this little spot over here, and then maybe a molly panel on this door here. So I ordered them, I'm just waiting for them, but it's coming along great. Looks great. I really like these struts here. One thing I really like about this build too as well, that's been just amazing to me, is the way that Beyond 4x4 makes these campers. These clamps on the inside here, they're very flush to the bed rails. You don't have those big old C clamps, so it makes for a nice like 1/4 inch gap in the back there, and they open great. And then you can make these the same level as that ledge, so you can utilize that space for phones or whatever. So that's super clean. Gives you an extra couple inches off the bench. I absolutely couldn't stand the look of a strip there. I know some companies put a strip back here because they got big C clamps off their campers and they're forced to do that. But that's one thing about Beyond, is that seamless integration into the bed rail is just amazing. Super stoked on that. So yeah, it's coming together. I can't wait to get those lights up there. Looking good. This has been my setup from the start. This is exactly what I've been doing, basically just clamping to the table, clamping for a straight edge. If you try to do this freehand, it just does not work that well. I would highly recommend just doing it this way for straight cuts. One thing is you do want to cut with this smooth side facing up. This is going to ensure that it's a clean cut. The way that the blade direction goes, it's a clean cut on the bottom side. Sometimes this top side will chip out just a little bit. So when you're cutting with a circular saw or even a jigsaw, any saw, make sure that the smooth side is up, so that if there are any chips, it happens on the back side here, just like what happened there. On the other side, it looks great. So that's the trick to cut this Hex Ply. Hex panel that we just installed. That's what it looks like. Came out pretty good. So there's plenty of space in between here and when you shut the bat wing here. So you got all this space. So my plan was to be able to utilize this space back here for some things. I'm not sure just yet what I'm going to put back there, but definitely going to have a full molly panel. I believe it's 15 by about 26 inches, so it's basically going to be a full molly panel on this backside, so I can utilize all this space and have a good amount, you know, 6 to 8 inches by the bottom. And I might run, I do have the Dometic Hydro Go little faucet for drinking water. So I might put a little drinking water spout somewhere around here too as well. It'd be kind of nice. Use it from the outside if I need. Alright guys, that wraps up part 3 of the series. I will have a part 4 of the series, which will include a walkthrough of the build. If you guys have any questions or thoughts on the build, I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below. If you guys like what you are seeing, please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. That's all.